Thank you guys for tuning in to our Jacket Nation Sports pregame show for Week 4. I'm Alex Boyer, the owner of Jacket Nation Sports, and hope that you guys have all had an awesome week. Flying solo tonight as my color commentator, Mike Flanders, who is normally up here with me in the booth, is gone to Miami for the weekend, but he's been texting me today, and I know he's excited to be watching the game from South Beach tonight. It's about time to start getting ready to head out to Jacket Stadium or get cozy at home and turn on some Yellow Jacket football on our Jacket Nation Sports YouTube channel as a battle between two state-ranked teams is going down tonight with kickoff beginning at 7 o'clock between the Bolivar Liberators and Lebanon Yellow Jackets. Before we get started, I want to take time to thank our pregame show sponsors, Heritage Bank of the Ozarks, Jonesy's Travel Center, Missouri Cooperage, Shadle's Colonial Chapel, Results Advertising, and Mercy Hospital Lebanon. And during the show, you'll see a slideshow of some of our other sponsors, and a big thanks to everyone who tuned in to our broadcast last week on the road. A successful week for both the Stream and the Lebanon Yellow Jackets, coming away with a 34-0 victory over the Kickapoo Chiefs. And normally we start off with other LHS activities that are going on throughout the week, but this week we have a special guest who was kind enough to offer to join me. So we're going to play our Missouri Cooperage Player of the Week interview with Cannon Roark. No interview with Coach Christian this week, and then we'll be right back after this. Here live on the Jacket Nation Sports pregame show, I'm joined with the Missouri Cooperage Week 3 Player of the Week, senior Cannon Roark, a wide receiver and a starting cornerback for the Yellow Jackets. Cannon, thanks for coming on the show.
I appreciate you having me.
Let's talk about that interception. You guys just stalled out on offense and then leaving the defense in a tough situation, but you go out there and get a pick six on the first play. So just kind of talk me through the interception, how that felt to kind of get the night going with that.
All right. Well, I knew the short passes were going to be coming, and we watched offensive film 2 times that week, and I think the first game they threw the pop first play. So I had an idea, and I don't know.
So it was the pop route the first play,
Yeah.
and you just kind of...
I was kind of expecting it.
So you just let the instincts cook over, and then you just jump the route. So yeah. Big play to start the game. But I know wrestling has been a big part of your life. Obviously, football season, but wrestling is kind of your main sport. A third-place finisher your freshman year. Your junior year, you get a state runner-up and lose to a phenomenal wrestler in the state championship. But how does wrestling help you on the football field? What can you take on the wrestling mat that helps you on the football field?
Yeah, it definitely does help. It helps me with my feet, like just more explosive. It's made me quicker. It's honestly just made me more athletic of a person.
Your defense has had a lot of success this year through the first 3 weeks. Obviously, a lot of weeks left to play this season. But what's made your defense different than the ones you've been a part of in years past?
I mean, our defense is. I couldn't tell you a spot that there isn't like a phenomenal player, and all of us have known each other all our life. We're just playing like as hard as we can, like brothers. I don't know how to explain it.
It's just different.
It's just different.
What's a better feeling for you, making a big play on offense or making a big play on defense? I know that catch that you had from Hoyt Honey last week, that's always a fun play to make, but then you have the pick six.
I mean, they both definitely get me hyped, but I would have to say offense because, I don't know, I like catching it and making touchdowns.
No doubt about it. And then you're going to face another talented team Friday night here at Jacket Stadium. Bolivar coming to town. So what are you guys expecting from the Liberators, and what have you guys been working on in practice this week to prepare for them?
I've been working, honestly, a lot of the same stuff like this a year because they've been just passing it a little and running it a little. But, yeah, they're well coached. We're expecting to come out physical, but we're definitely going to come out more physical.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to join us. Congratulations on being the Missouri Cooperage Week 3 Player of the Week, and good luck against the Liberators.
Appreciate it.
Back here on the Jacket Nation Sports pregame show, brought to you by Heritage Bank of the Ozarks, Jonesy's Travel Center, Missouri Cooperage, Shadle's Colonial Chapel, Results Advertising, and Mercy Hospital Lebanon. Getting ready to call the number 8 ranked Class 4 Bolivar Liberators against the number 7 ranked Class 5 Lebanon Yellow Jackets on our Jacket Nation Sports YouTube page. But joining me now on the program is Lebanon High School quarterbacks coach and assistant Lebanon High School baseball coach, Zach Miller. Coach, appreciate you taking the time to hop on the show before you guys get ready to go up to the cafeteria and do your final endo meetings with your team.
Appreciate the invite. It's always a pleasure.
Now, believe it or not, Coach Miller was one of the first people that I pitched the idea of Jacket Nation Sports to last year. He thought it was a great idea, told me to run with it. Sure enough, here we are now in the press box. So
yeah, this is something we've needed for a while, so it just took the right person with the vision and the know-how and the will to put in the time and the effort, and then, of course, somebody with the gift of gab who can acquire some sponsors as well to help out, and then knows the game and loves Jacket Sports. So
yeah,
that's you for sure.
Yeah, appreciate that, and couldn't do it without our awesome businesses here in town that have supported the stream since day one. But we haven't talked on here today about last week's game. I just mentioned the score, but obviously awesome win for you guys in South Springfield, first road game of the year. Your team took care of business and didn't flinch when it kind of seemed like a lot of people were doubting because of the first easy 2 weeks of the season. But how did you feel like the team played overall, given the circumstances?
Really good. I mean, when you go on the road for the first time, so that's something that you can try to prepare them for mentally, but obviously when you're there and crowd noise and things like that. So I thought the kids did good with that. And then Kickapoo's really good anyway. Big school, big kids, well coached, really good players. I mean, last year they had 25, 26 seniors, and I think that number's somewhere around there this year. And they had 7 college football players on their team last year and probably close to that this year. So you're going to get really quality opponent. And, the kids did a great job executing the game plan on offense and defense. I think offensively we stayed true to our identity. We're going to take what we are given, and if we bust a few big plays, great. And then defensively, just those guys are flying around, playing good assignment football. And like I said, it's fun to see when a tackle is made how many hats are getting to the football this year. It ain't just one guy. It's several guys swarming the ball. So I know that's a big emphasis for Coach Allen on the defensive side. So I'm sure they were happy with that. But, there's always room for improvement regardless of how a game turns out. There's always things you're going to wish you'd done different as a player, as a coach. So we got back in the film room on Sunday and took a look at that and get ready for a really tough Bolivar team tonight.
It doesn't get easier this week, but, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that, you take what you can get, and most of the time fans who don't really understand the game are upset that you guys aren't passing every down like the Camdens and Glendales and those types of schools. But you guys, around your coaching staff, you guys will take 4 yards every time. That's good enough for you guys. And obviously, three plays of 4 yards is a first down, so you'll take that every time.
First down, keep the chains moving. Now, obviously, you have to be really good at what you do, and you have to be technical, precise. And the fact that we don't do as much offensively, not being in a spread system or a wide open run and shoot type system, where we try to keep it simple, focus on little things, fundamentals, individual time, and things like that. You have to be good at what you do. And then also there's not as much room for error. You get behind the sticks on a 3rd and long.
Yeah.
Then you put yourself in a position where you have to pass, and you got the secondary dropping, and they're sending extra pressure and things like that. So one of the things our kind of motto is, as far as passing the ball, is don't get in a position where you have to throw it when you want to throw it. So,
and one of our keys to the game last week was to get Gavin Smith going. Even though you guys had won the first 2 weeks, there wasn't a whole lot of usage by Gavin. But last week was a week where the stats might not have been there necessarily, but he impacts the game in so many different ways. And
yeah, Gab's doing an awesome job. He, with our offense, because of what we do, defenses are going to send 1 to 2 to 3 hats anywhere on the field, depending. It could be fullback at Jax Glendinning, it could be to Gavin at quarterback, could be to our slots, Abe Allen and Drew Bowling, and then we got receivers to cover when they do slip up there and we run play action. So, not all the time are you going to have a career night or even maybe a big numbers night, but, I think our kids are very much would rather have an outcome that they want as opposed to an individual night that they want. Now, if one can accompany the other, that's great. But Gavin's shown a lot of maturity, this year as a senior to say, hey, I'm going to get the ball where it needs to go, and hopefully we have success that way. And if the call is me with the ball, great. If not, he's the first one to congratulate his teammates on a great run or, a great night.
What's it been like for you to, you work with Gavin Football? I kind of proclaimed that nickname for him.
He wears number 2.
Yeah, the Gavin Football. Each day, and it's not disrespect to the quarterbacks before him, but I believe Smith has had as much talent as you guys have had running this offense at the quarterback position. So what separates him from other quarterbacks that you've had?
A lot of it's just that raw, God-given athletic ability, the things he can do, and he plays a lot heavier than he looks to. He looks light. And he is to a certain degree, but he plays extremely physical. I mean, I think you can see that when he's at outside backer and safety on the other side, depending on where they line him up. But when he plays defense on the other side of the football, you see how many tackles he makes. Or he's a heavy hitter over there. And offensively, you have to be because, look at as many quarterback runs as he's had this year, whether it be on the option or by design. He's had several. And it's not – when you play good teams, you're not going to get an 80-yard run, wide open space. It could be 3 to 5 yards of – I'm going to have to lower my head, get in there where it's tight, and maybe take on a hit from a linebacker or a D lineman or something like that. But he's extremely tough. From time to time, he'll play through little nicks and knacks, little injuries and things like that. Extremely God-given athletic ability. But the biggest thing that has separated him from his sophomore year, freshman year till now is just every year he's a sponge. He soaks up info. He watches a ton of film. We do that throughout the week, and then he does a lot of that on his own, and he's just always – He's his own critic, which is hard to get into some kids' heads that, hey, you've got to be your own worst critic, and you got to look in the mirror, and you got to watch film, and you got to critique yourself. And oftentimes you get kids that, want to be praised for what they do good, and we do. And, when a kid does a good job, we're going to tell them they do a good job. But at the same time, that is their job, is to execute something and do it well. And Gavin doesn't look for the attention on that. He looks for things that, hey, what could I have done better here? I didn't read this right. That throw was a little off. I didn't see the coverage real good. What do I need to do against this? So he's always asking Coach Summers, myself, other members of the coaching staff, hey, what can I do better, or what could I have done differently? So he's a student of the game for sure, which is really good because we're only in week 4, and he's still learning and he's still questioning himself and trying to get better too. So he hasn't settled. There's no complacency.
Tonight you'll have a fun task at hand with the Bolivar Liberators coming to town. Obviously, should be a packed house with a Jamie LaSalle coach team, a guy that's been around the block a time or two. You probably expect to see a lot of screens, the zone reads, reverses, and probably some short route concepts. But defensively, what does Bolivar bring to the table, and what are you guys expecting to see from them tonight?
What stands out on film, regardless of what they line up in, is they fly around. Their effort is really good on both sides of the ball, but especially defensively, they fly around. They got a couple inside backers that look really good. They come downhill, they'll thump, they'll stroke. They got a nose, big kid, long kid, extremely athletic, poses a lot of problems for some people, depending on where they line him up, whether it's nose, one tech, and an even front, but. And then, like I said, just overall, their defense flies around, kind of similar to ours. They get a lot of hats to the football. So definitely well improved from last year. Obviously, I think everybody would agree to that who's seen them play last year. They're much improved. Obviously, they're 3-0, state ranked, playing with a lot of confidence. And they should be for where they've played with some great quality wins. And like I said, they're extremely talented, well coached, and a lot of effort. They play with a lot of effort.
All right. Well, Coach, I appreciate you, and for you taking the time to come in on the pregame show means a lot to me. So thanks for talking some football with us, and best of luck tonight against Bolivar.
Appreciate it.
That was Lebanon High School quarterback coach Zach Miller and Lebanon High School assistant baseball coach Zach Miller. So appreciate him coming on the show, and since we've had to work around the schedule a little bit, we can talk about some of the other awesome programs that are competing at Lebanon High School this fall. Ron Kroll and the Lady Jackets tennis team played 3 matches this week against Waynesville, Bolivar, and Rolla. The Jackets defeated Waynesville on Monday 5-2, and that was a shortened match due to weather, but the Lady Jackets got singles wins from Olivia Magruder, Kelsey Daughtery, Destiny Stokes, Carly Miller, and Bailey Lawrence, and fell to Bolivar on Tuesday in a close 5-4 match, but then bounced back with a win against the Lady Bulldogs on Thursday. I believe they're having a home match right now against Jeff City, so stay tuned for the results of that. Moving over to the volleyball side, Lebanon Volleyball finished second at the Hillcrest tournament last week and going 3-0 in pool play with wins over Joplin, Willard, and Camdenton. So nice job there in pool play by Jenny Collins and her team. They did fall in the championship to Webb City after beating Branson in the semifinals. And on Tuesday, the team hosted Glendale and fell in 3 sets. But a bright spot in that match, we were able to broadcast that one on our Jacket Nation Sports YouTube page, was junior Addie Redmond surpassing the 1,000 kill mark for her illustrious career. Obviously, a lot of volleyball left to play for her, but she's done such a great job for the Lady Jackets on the hardwood. And then the Lebanon volleyball team also picked up a 3-set win over the Central Bulldogs last night at the Pit. So a good bounce-back win for the Lady Yellow Jackets. For softball, the Lady Jackets fell at the Kickapoo on Tuesday. Their only game, Ozark Conference game of the week, but went to the Branson tournament today and beat West Plains before falling to, I believe, Smith Cotton in the second game. So 2 games there for Lebanon this afternoon. The boys soccer team is headed off to Sullivan as we're talking here and will take on the Eagles in a road match. They fell to Hillcrest on Tuesday 4-2, so Matt Jernigan and his team will look to get on the winning track at Sullivan today. For girls golf, they competed at the Silo Ridge Invitational earlier this week at Bolivar and had a match against Camden at Lake Valley on Thursday. They will take on Stratford next Wednesday at Marshfield in a match against the Lady Indians. Boys swim had another solid performance at the Hillcrest dual meet. Junior Benjamin Nelson improved his times, taking 3rd place in the 100 freestyle and 9th in the 100 backstroke. Sophomore Eli Havens improved times, earning 7th in the 50 and 100 freestyle. Freshman Jackson Fisher placed 7th in the 200 freestyle and 14th in the 100 backstroke. Freshman Hunter Four and Adam Keene also improved their season times, and the team's next meet is the Monette Invitational on September 23rd. The cross-country team had their annual home meet on Saturday, and boy, did these teams perform well. According to Josh Smith, the head coach of the cross-country team, it was the largest meet Lebanon has hosted in recent history with over 16 high schools, 24 middle schools, and 700 runners. So the Yellow Jackets gave the home crowd plenty to cheer about as the teams earned 3 first-place plaques and 16 individual medals. Abigail Tague was Lebanon's top runner for the girls, placing 2nd out of 70 runners with a time of 20 minutes and 29 seconds. The boys were led by standout runner Peter Stunja, who placed 4th with a time of 16:54. Liam Allen, who was on Stunja's heels, placed 5th and a time of 16:55, so a second right behind Stunja. And Kelby Connor was the 3rd LHS runner to cross and 7th with a time of 17:13. And they will be running at Joplin tomorrow morning on the Missouri Southern campus. Going back to football here for the last few minutes after our interview with head coach or Lebanon quarterbacks coach Zach Miller and assistant baseball coach, we will take a look at some of the Ozark Conference games that took place around the area last week. Bolivar, Lebanon's opponent tonight, shut out the Parkview Vikings 48-0 in Springfield. Not much trouble for the Liberators in that game. The Glendale Falcons squeaked out a 21-20 win at home against the Rolla Bulldogs, and Glendale improves to 2-1 while Rolla drops to 0-3. Last week we talked on the show about the West Plains Scissors and Hillcrest Hornets going at it on Thursday night, and West Plains won that game 45-12. So the Scissors taking care of business, and they might be a team that's starting to get the train back on the track. So it'll be interesting to see how Joel Wyatt and his team respond this week with a big matchup looming. Camdenton and Waynesville, a little bit of a shootout on Friday, with the Lakers pulling out a 52-28 win at the Jaws of Death. Lots of fireworks after a loss to the Kickapoo Chiefs for Camdenton. So it'll be interesting to see how the Lakers start to get their season back on track and if they can get things going in the right direction. That's our week 3 recap. Now we're heading into week 4. So we talked about our game that will happen tonight in Leclerc County. Zach Miller did a good job of giving his prognosis on both teams and what to expect. So let's look at some of the other top Ozark Conference games and key games around the area, including one Ozark Conference game that took place last night. Hillcrest at Glendale, another Thursday night game for the Hornets, their second straight Thursday night game this week as they played in-city rival Glendale. The Falcons were the team that came out swinging and steamrolled Hillcrest en route to their second straight win, 28-6. So Glendale going to 3-1 on the year, Hillcrest dropping to 0-4. We talked earlier about West Plains getting the train back on the tracks. They'll have 0-3 Rolla coming to their house tonight in Howell County, and it's kind of been a tough start for Derek Heflin and the Bulldogs this 2023 campaign, but unfortunately things aren't going to get much easier as at the Zizzer Stadium tonight. West Plains is getting better every week. After that week 1 loss to Balver, should be able to handle business tonight, but it'll be interesting to see if Rolla can hang around for a little bit and maybe pull out a win. Camden at Parkview. Camden hits the road for the first time all season after having 3 straight home games to start the 2023 year. I'm intrigued to see what kind of stuff that they've shored up since their week 2 loss against Kickapoo, as I mentioned that just a few minutes ago. Final game of the night was Kickapoo at Waynesville. The Chiefs were shut out last week against Lebanon, as you guys know, but obviously I don't think they're going to be shut out here. Kickapoo had a tough week, but all good programs find a way to bounce back, and like Zach Miller said earlier, the Kickapoo Chiefs are well coached. Nate Thomas knows what to do to motivate his team in a game that they should win easily. I don't see the Chiefs having any trouble tonight. Other key games around the area that fans should keep an eye out for as a high school football fan. Joplin at Webb City will be fun to see. The Eagles versus the Cardinals. Joplin kind of dealing with some injuries the first few weeks of the season, but getting some key players back tonight. It'll be interesting to see how they respond in a big environment at Webb City. Seneca at Lamar, 2 of the best small school teams in southwest Missouri, battling it out. And then Forsyth at Fair Grove. So three matchups, a couple small schools in there. High school football fans obviously know the importance of every single game, every single week. That's the mantra that the high school coaches live by. District standings are in play every week. Conference races are in play every week. So every game matters. And let's see here. Oh, before I forget, I want to mention that former Lebanon and Missouri State standout Zach Cooley will be inducted into the Lebanon Football Hall of Fame tonight. Cooley was a mainstay on the Lebanon offensive line during his high school football career. He was named a Missouri second-team All-State offensive tackle in 2009. He earned first-team All-Conference, All-District, and All-Ozarks first-team distinctions at offensive tackle and defensive end for LHS. Went on to play for Missouri State, and his senior year he was named a co-captain. Started all 12 games at left tackle, and started 45 games for Missouri State football, which is an all-time record for the Bears football program. He earned all Missouri Valley Football Conference honorable mention honors and was a big part of a Bears offensive line quintet that never missed a start in 2013, and he helped Missouri State compile 343 yards per game while allowing just over 1 sack per game, which ranked 26th in the nation. So congratulations to number 75, Zach Cooley, on his induction into the Lebanon Football Hall of Fame. It's been an outstanding 2023 class, and looking forward to seeing next year's class. With no interview from Coach Christian, our show kind of flew by today, but I think that's probably going to wrap it up for this week's Jacket Nation Sports pregame show. Gates are going to be opening up here soon at Jacket Stadium, and I'll start getting my stream set up for tonight. Make sure that you try to make it out to the game if you can, as always, but If you can't, you'll be able to watch the broadcast here on our YouTube channel, Jacket Nation Sports. We're going live around 6:30 tonight. I will have Garrett Brown with me in the booth as Mike enjoys his getaway in Miami. Looking forward to another week of high school football. Our pregame show is live every Friday, and next week we are on the road to Waynesville, so looking forward to getting to call that game for you guys. Want to thank our primary sponsors, Heritage Bank of the Ozarks, Jonesy's Travel Center, Missouri Cooperage, Shadles Colonial Chapel, Results Advertising, and Mercy Hospital Lebanon for sponsoring the pregame show. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out our website, www.jacketnationsports.com for game stories, and we will see you soon. Go Jackets!